What is up, Bears fans? Welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. Guys, the hunt for a new OC is well and truly underway. We've had rumours and talks, obviously, of internal promotions. I certainly hope one of the internal promotions that is not being spoken about is Press Taylor to be promoted. He was pretty dire when he was in Jacksonville. Ask any Jacksonville offensive player what they actually thought of Press Taylor as an offensive coordinator, and you would not get a favourable response from them. So look, I certainly hope that one is not. For me, the most likely internal promotion would of course be Antoine Randall-El, although JT Barrett seems to be high up in the in that situation. JT Barrett obviously been mentioned as another possible. Obviously the work that he's done with Caleb this year, invaluable in helping Caleb to improve, and certainly would obviously continue that work in helping Caleb, obviously having his quarterback coach as then the new OC. The Bears didn't, I think, expect to be looking for a new OC this off-season. I think they genuinely thought that Declan Doyle would remain, but unfortunately it is happening. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. Once you get good, once you become a team that is successful, once you get to be a team that wins, it's your other teams come and they start nicking your coaches. They come start pilfering your coaches because that's the way that it happens in the NFL. Now, Troy Walters, the Cincinnati Bengal wide receivers coach, has reportedly turned down an interview with the Bears. Many people feeling that he wants to stay in Cincinnati to continue to work with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, etc., Joe Burrow. Also, the fact that he would not be calling the plays as offensive coordinator in Chicago, slightly going against. And I think that's obviously something that is going to be a concern in terms of recruiting someone who maybe what you would describe as a big name. Nobody's going to want to come and be second fiddle. So it's going to be a guy who is either looking for an opportunity to get back in to the reckoning for another big job, or is a young guy coming through as a position coach, wants to step up, but perhaps is ready to sort of learn from Ben Johnson and then move on. Now, it's very much thought that Ben Johnson is a guy who wants an innovative thinker, someone who will help him, someone who will help with play design, someone who will help with scouting, someone who will help with offensive preparation in terms of getting the team ready for the next game. Certainly what Declan Doyle did so well for Ben in Chicago. Now, there's a number of names obviously been mentioned in relation to this job. The guy who was sacked, John Morton from the Detroit Lions, someone who Ben Johnson calls his mentor, has been a name linked. I certainly hope that one is not someone we are looking at. Another name that has come up in recent times and recent days is 30-year-old Connor Seneca, who is the Arizona Cardinals passing game coordinator as well. He was another one who got rave reviews for the past year and the job that he did at the East-West Shrine Bowl as well. Now, one surprise name that could be on the candidate list is someone who I think thought that he may be getting an offensive coordinator's job in New York, but the Giants have surprisingly hired Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator. Poor New York Giants, so much for them improving next season. Is this man, Cliff Kingsbury, the former Arizona Cardinals head coach. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury, guys. I know what a lot of you are going to think. Oh my God, no. But hear me out and hear me why this could be a good choice. Now, Cliff Kingsbury has got a wide and varied coaching CV. He was at Houston as offensive quality control coach and quarterbacks coach. He was then at Texas A&M as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. He was at Texas Tech as head coach. He was the Cardinals head coach between 2019 and 2022. He also, interestingly, worked with a certain Mr. Caleb Williams at USC in 2023 as a senior offensive analyst. Interesting. Under Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams has certainly spoken favourably, not only of Lincoln Riley, but of Cliff Kingsbury. And this past couple of seasons, he has been the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. He was let go this summer. Surprisingly, on this off-season, we're not there yet, unfortunately. This off-season, he has been let go by the Commanders as they seek to restructure their offensive staff and their coaching staff after a disappointing season. But he was responsible for the development and improvement in his rookie season of Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Daniels missed a lot of time last season through injury. Cliff Kingsbury also, interestingly, was a Super Bowl champion as well, as part of the New England Patriots coaching staff. So he's had a wide and varied coaching CV. He is a creative thinker. He is a thinker outside of the box. He is an innovative thinker as well. And he's certainly someone who has been suggested as a possible candidate to be the Bears OC. Ted Neugen, writing in his column, said, best thing for Kingsbury might be to try and get the Bears OC job, though no connection has been reported. Obviously, he wouldn't call plays, but getting experience learning under center offense would benefit him and his stock immensely. It would be way better for his career than, let's say, taking the Jets job. Yeah, I don't think ever taking a job as any sort of coordinator or coach for the New York Jets is good for your CV, is it? Now, why could Cliff Kingsbury possibly be a fit, you might think? You might think this is a completely ridiculous suggestion, but you never know. It could be a positive. He has, like I said, a number of qualities that Ben Johnson favours. Now, yes, Cliff Kingsbury wouldn't be the play caller, which is something that he hasn't done previously. However, it didn't bother him when he was at USC after losing the head coach's job. Arizona, and he could see it as a major stepping stone if, say, he was to come in, work with Ben Johnson, work with Caleb Williams. The Bears go on to have another good season, progress in the playoffs, even win a Super Bowl. His name and his stock suddenly rises again, and again he could move to be an OC somewhere else where he would call plays. Hey, I don't know. It's a possible. He is very creative in what he does, which would link well with what Ben Johnson does. So there would be a sort of a parity there, a kind of sort of a connection between the two. Now, not only that, there is a big rumour and a big falsehood around Cliff Kingsbury. Everyone says that Cliff Kingsbury is a pass-happy coach. However, that's not true. Even when he was at Texas Tech with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, he had a strong reputation for running the football. In his 6 years as a head coach and offensive coordinator, his teams have finished in the top 10 for rushing 5 out of those 6 years. In 2019, Kingsbury's offense finished 10th, in 2020 7th, in 2021 10th, 2022 was the odd year out, 22nd, 2024 3rd, and 2025 4th. So he has a strong reputation for calling and bringing through a running offense, which would link well with what the Bears like to do. The Bears love to run the ball. And as we saw last year with Dondre Swift, Kyle Monungai, we've got one seriously hell of a good 1-2 punch there. Certainly something that Kingsbury could work with and certainly help Ben Johnson in terms of that side of the game. Now, like I said, the pull of the Bears job, it is difficult. You know that when you come to Chicago as an OC, you are going to be second fiddle to Ben Johnson. It is Ben's offense, Ben's team. We know that. We get that. The same way that if you go to LA, you're going to be second fiddle to Sean McVay. If you go to San Francisco, you're going to be second fiddle to Kyle Shanahan. That's how it is, guys. You learn from those guys. And I don't think Kingsbury is afraid to learn. Like I said, when he was a senior offensive analyst at USC, working with Williams, he wasn't a play caller. He learned from, obviously, Lincoln Riley and obviously the USC OC at that point, and he worked with Caleb Williams. He has an understanding. It may help Caleb Williams working with someone who helped him at USC. May help to further bring on the talent that is Caleb. And the pull of working alongside one of the NFL's best young quarterbacks could be a major pull for Kingsbury. It also, like I said, would give him the opportunity to learn from Ben Johnson, to pick Ben Johnson's brain, to work with one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, one of the best young up-and-coming head coaches in Ben Johnson. So it could be a major pull for Kingsbury. This is just a name that has been mentioned. Like I said, I could be completely left field here. It could be a complete load of rubbish, and it could be a situation the Bears won't even think of looking at. But at this point, we're just kind of suggesting names, throwing names out there, looking at possible candidates to be the Bears' next OC. Guys, who would you want as our next OC? Are you happy with an internal promotion? And if so, who would you want? Or would you like to see someone like Cliff Kingsbury come in as an ex-head coach, a guy with a vast coaching CV to work again with Caleb Williams? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, if you've enjoyed the content, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember always, guys, bear down.